So choice A was basically Edessa, and the pros and cons of that one were that pros were it would have been a symbolic victory because it would have been like we got back the land we lost, or whatever. But the cons were it wasn't very strategic and it wasn't extremely important, and it still left themselves open to attack again afterwards, even if they got it again. And then B was Aleppo, which is actually very important. It was the second most important city in all of northern Syria, basically only to Antioch, and it was Nureddin's control power base. So if they took that, that could literally neuter attacks on any of the Crusader states for a while, and it cuts off the Muslims from the north and the south. C was Damascus, which was also a very strong city. The pro, if taking it, the only one really was that it had a lot of biblical overtures to it. Paul or Saul, was converted there. Abraham was born right over there too, or at least it said he was. And then, but the biggest cons were, of course, that it was literally the only city that had any peaceful overtures to the Crusader states before. And on top of that, they were also threatened by Nur ad-Din. So basically, if the easiest way to make them go to Nur ad-Din and make them be allies with one another would have been to attack Damascus. And then D was Ascalon, which would have consolidated power in the kingdom of Jerusalem and consolidated the coast. But the cons of that was it was just kind of a small city. It wasn't a big wow factor there. There was nothing huge going on there. And lo and behold, you'll never guess which one they chose. They chose Damascus. Of course they chose the stupidest one. When they should have chosen Aleppo. That one was the easiest one. And apparently the Muslims, when they got news that they chose Damascus, they were like, "Are you kidding me? How did they make this stupid decision?" They were almost certain that it was going to be Edessa or Aleppo. And what happened after that was they got to Damascus and were like, "Okay, we gotta, win here or whatever, because whatever." And they actually had a good game plan at the very beginning because there were some orchards that led up into the city that were a perfect irrigation and food source. So, and it had a lot of trees, so it would have been perfect for siege engines. And so they started there and were perfectly fine, and they were the people of Damascus were actually worried. They were like, "Oh crap, we might actually get taken over." And then of course, for some inexplicable reason, apparently William of Tyre theorized that it might have been treachery, but apparently they just moved their siege equipment and everything to a completely different part of the city because they thought the walls were lower there, but it was too far away from the orchard, so they didn't have the food supplies or anything anymore. And they're like, "Wow, these guys are idiots." And then of course Nur ad-Din is like, "I'm just gonna go over there and save Damascus, and then all the people of Damascus will love me." And so they heard that. Then they were just like, "Well, we're just gonna give up." So after 5 days, they literally just packed it home and went bye-bye, and the Second Crusade was over. So yeah, complete failure.